Welcome to another episode of Always Ageless, where we explore all things related to living a full and vibrant life after 55. Today, we're going to dive into a topic that's both exciting and daunting for many, a new chapter in housing. So whether you're downsizing, relocating, or just looking for a fresh start, choosing the right home for retirement is a big decision. It's a big decision at any point in your life, but especially when you're thinking of retiring. So joining us today is a highly respected real estate professional, Elena Flores, who has dedicated her career to helping seniors find their perfect retirement home. She specializes in mobile homes and condominiums and 55 plus communities, catering to people that move from higher price areas to a more affordable market, which is where she is. So with years of experience and a deep understanding of what seniors truly need, she's here to share her insights, her thoughts on housing trends, what features matter the most, and she's going to tell us what seniors need to do to navigate this unique process. We'll also discuss the emotional side of moving, how to handle family dynamics, when adult children are involved, and what financing options are available for seniors. So whether you're planning a move for yourself or you're helping a loved one, this episode is packed with practical advice and tips and heartfelt stories you won't want to miss. So grab a cup of tea, settle in, and let's get started. Welcome, Elena Flores.
Thank you, Val. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here with you and to share this experience with you. I know we have talked about it for about a year now, or since as long as you've had your show, and we finally made it happen. So thank you very much for the opportunity.
You're very welcome. Elena, let's start with you. Can you share a little bit about your background? I know a little bit about it, but let's tell our listening and viewing audience and how you came to specialize or came to serving seniors in their real estate needs and in their mortgage needs, I should say also, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I've been in real estate for since 2010, but previous to that I was in lending, and previous to that I was an investor. So, I grew up my father was a realtor turned developer, so I kind of grew up in the business, right? I would go to open houses and walk on construction sites and everything, you name it. So I kind of grew up in the business. But how I got into helping seniors in mobile homes is a really good friend of mine was living, her mom was living with her, and they were just struggling with the dynamics of it. And she said, mom needs to get a home to be on her own. She just needs it. So she said, "Can you help her?" And I said, at that point, I typically didn't do mobile homes. Um, but I said, okay. I said, sure. I said, let me help you. Let me help you. So that's how it all started. It
And what do you love the most about working with this special dynamic, the special demographic, excuse me?
it's okay. I love that I actually connect, and it allows me to slow down a little bit in my business and just be with a a buyer or seller, right? That is just so down to earth and more kind of along the lines of back in the the older days when things were slow.
Yeah.
Because I'm up there in age as well, so I do notice how different life is now compared to back 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. So
And I think it's fair to say that you're actually also a caretaker, are you not? Because
I
you have to
am.
care for your mom just as I do, so we have that in common.
Yes, absolutely. I have my mom here with us, and her brother, which so
Oh.
that is about a year old, where he's needed to stay with family. So
Um,
yeah.
One of the things I wanted to talk about with you, especially today, Elena, is I know that especially in the area that you serve, you do have a lot of mobile homes and you have a lot of condominiums in senior communities. How do those compare?
In all honesty, Val, the only real difference, in my opinion, is that the community's more tailored to a senior. Um, a lot of the housing does have like lower shelving, which is really important
Yeah,
because I have had people who investors who want to pick up a home, whether it's a mobile or a single family, and rehab it and kind of turn it into something for a senior. But what they don't understand is a senior can't reach a shelf that's traditionally higher than a regular home. You kind of have to make it, you know, senior friendly, if you would.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
a lot like the flooring needs to be like smooth so that they could use the walker rather than carpet, which makes it difficult. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So one of the questions I was going to ask you is, are there features or amenities that your senior clients value in each of those types of housing?
With everybody it's yes, and but with every senior it's different because sometimes we have a younger senior who's not at the point yet where they need the walker, so they do like the smooth surface, but they also like the carpet like in the bedrooms.
Sure.
I think the height of the cabinetry makes a difference no matter if you're 55 or 85. That is always a wider door. A
Yeah.
lot of them need the wider door to use the either the walker or the wheelchair. So, and then a step-in shower rather than a tub. Yeah.
And do you find that a mobile home has a disadvantage because of it's raised up, whereas condominiums, I know I've been in your area and sold in your area where the condominiums they're like one floor, they can enter from the ground floor. So how do people make up for that with the mobile home?
Yeah, absolutely. So, a lot of people either need a ramp or need to have one built or negotiate with the seller if they're buying, to have a ramp to put on, and really it's just about negotiations, but that's one of the key features that is important that they look for is not too many stairs into the home.
I know that, Elena, when my dad was alive, they had a lift at their mobile home, and so dad
Yes,
could move his wheelchair, his walker, whatever it was, and then it lifted him up to the
yes,
entry level.
yes, there's quite a few homes that have that, but within the last 2 to 3 years I could honestly tell you I haven't sold too many that still have that lift.
Is that right?
Yeah, yeah, mm-hmm. But
And they're
those
using ramps instead?
they're using ramps. Yep.
And that's not a problem, apparently.
And it's not a problem. Yeah.
Huh. Are Melina, are you noticing any trends that seniors are looking for in retirement homes?
So what I have seen is um the buyers are not wanting to. So when we're talking about mobile home, a lot of buyers are not wanting to buy something that's built like that still has all the 70s paneling
Oh,
and
sure.
yeah, because a lot of them still do and haven't been updated. I have a client in particular who is a investor, and they pick up mobile homes and they rehab them. And I'll tell you really quickly, if we have a little bit of time,
Sure, of
um,
course.
how they came about to doing this is that when she had to downsize her mother out of Orange County, they were looking for a mobile home community, but everything was very outdated and like
Oh,
left with 70s and shag and so they picked up something and made it absolutely gorgeous. They put really nice smooth flooring and granite countertops and all the trendy new lighting and quartz countertops. Um, so when the mom passed, she was like, you know what, I want to do this, I want to make a difference for seniors when they're in their last years. They just want to live in a place to feel comfortable,
They do.
and they want to just, you know, they should be in a home where they feel pride, just have a sense of pride. So this particular investor that I work with, she picks up really uh,
Dated.
dated mobile homes and fixes them up and makes them absolutely beautiful. Makes the doorways and everything with a ramp, and just sells them to the senior communities.
And what are some of the most popular features in a mobile home right now? What do people look for the most? Is it the flooring or the granite counters or
I would say mostly the flooring, only because the easy the to walk.
movement? Mhm.
Yeah, movement. Uh-huh. I think also what's important is being able to step into a shower.
Yeah,
That's very important. And I don't
it
think
is.
a lot of people realize that you really can't lift your leg up too high, or a lot of people have aches and pains or issues with their hips.
We all have aches and pains.
So, and that's something we're dealing with here at my own home. Where we're just discussing, okay, what do we have to do to the bathroom, the bathroom to help with that.
So
So,
a couple of features that I've seen is one is where you literally have what's called, I think, a step-in tub, and the other is
yes,
where now a lot of the showers are floor level to where you
yes,
don't have those step-ups to get in the shower. The shower door is literally at the floor level, so it is a walk-in or a roll-in. And Elaine, I've noticed as I visit assisted living communities that they have no what's called a curb to get in the shower. You open it up and you literally can roll your wheelchair right in. Do you see any of
yes,
that?
yes, absolutely. But um, that is only in something that has been updated. So,
Sure.
yeah, but yes. Yeah.
But when you see the updated ones or the new ones, are you seeing the roll-in shower? Are you seeing the walk-in tub
I'm seeing more of the roll in.
shower?
Excuse me. Yeah.
That's interesting. Well, how has affordability influenced seniors moving from more expensive places and what attracts them to your area?
I will tell you that in the past several years, there has been so many more seniors moving into our area from like Orange County, San Diego, Los Angeles, and I do ask them, and the number one answer is affordability.
Well, we
So,
should tell our audience that there's one thing that you have a lot of, and that's warm weather,
yes,
right?
that's right.
So if they
Yes.
buy there, they get affordability, but it also gets pretty warm. Is that not true?
That's very true. In the summertime, we can get between, in the early summer, we'll be in the high 80s, 90s, and then, dead midsummer will be like 110. So we get pretty hot out here.
So would you say that your temperatures are about like what you'd see in Phoenix?
I would say more like Palm Springs with probably a 10-degree radius, roughly lower. Yeah.
Uh-huh. And they don't mind that, or they put up with it because it's the affordability, just like they do in
Yeah,
Arizona, right?
but also seniors like the warmer weather, not just this warm, but they like the warmer weather. I'm a warm weather person myself. I don't like to be in cold weather.
And then do you find that their activities are geared around that, that they will walk earlier in the
Yes,
morning and things like
yes.
that? Is that kind of how they work?
Yes, many of them look for communities that have like a dog park in it, because they like to walk their babies,
Sure.
through the community. So a lot look for, and yeah, morning is the time where they'll go to the clubhouse, swimming pool, or dog park.
Now we know that over 11,000 people a day are turning 65. So we know that this segment of the population is growing. And we also know that they're living longer. So it's reasonable to assume, and as we know from my experience, my mom's 105, so I'm the adult child of an aging parent, and I'm a baby boomer, and I'm a retirement age all in one. and a sandwich generation, and kind of as you are, you're a little younger than I am, but so as we know that because these people are living longer, that more often their children are involved in their decisions,
Yes.
right? So do you see that a lot in the people that you serve?
Absolutely, Val. I had a listing appointment this morning where the daughter was the one that reached out to me, and we had a whole conversation before. And I said, "Well, how would you like me to do this? Do you want me to go meet with your mom first and do everything with the mom, or do you want me to meet with her and call you there?" So I really kind of tailor to whatever their needs are, because I could really do it with the daughter or son, or I could do it directly with the homeowner. What I do find is the kids do like to be involved just a little bit. So I think that's important for them. And what is oftentimes also, some of the kids are out of state. Like in this
Absolutely.
situation, this the daughter is in Idaho. So she was like, whatever you can do to help me to help, you know, make this sale happen. Can my mom move to Idaho during the sale, and can we do everything like
Oh,
online and with the distance? I said absolutely, yeah. So one of the things is I really really dive into making it as easy as possible for my clients, because they need that. You don't want to be stressing them out with the move. They already are stressed out with having to pack and deal with just moving their whole life to another state, right? So,
yeah.
yeah, to answer your question, yes, oftentimes we are definitely dealing with the children as well.
And I'm sure you must have some situations where the child is there and the parents and the children have exact opposite feelings about how things should be done.
Absolutely. Yes. That's very true.
You've had that happen.
Oh, yes.
So, what are some of the ways that you navigate this when the adult children and their aging parents have differing opinions?
I have to go with like our real estate rules, right? The homeowner is the seller, and you have to go by their wants and wishes. There's the one, and I kind of I gently explained that to the children, and that's the truth, right, Val? I mean, her wants and wishes, but if it was something that I truly felt would be detrimental to the seller and the kids are right, I would do whatever I could to support the kids' decision, and maybe explain it in a different way that maybe only the seller would kind of understand it coming from me rather than the kids. So I really try to you have to kind of be diverse and be open to I don't know, pivoting, if I don't know if that's the correct word, but
I
you
think
have to
so.
really, yeah, you really have to just be open and do what's best for the homeowner. Yeah.
And that's a really important aspect because so often the parent doesn't want to move out of their home. They don't want to go. They'll say, we've heard them say, we're going to be in this house until you carry me out in a pine box. And they don't want to go. They don't want to move. And they don't want their children telling them what to do. And it's kind of like, we've heard them say, and we heard this week with one of our other guests. That they're basically they say, you're not my mother, and you can't tell me what to do, right? You're
Mm.
only my daughter. You're not my mother. So I get to
I've
make
heard those words before.
I get to make my
I've
own,
heard those words before.
right. I get to make my own decisions. And our moms, we know that our moms have probably said those same words to us. So it's
Yeah.
so what advice do you give? When you're starting this process and a child reaches out to you, then do you ask them if, I mean, I'm sure you ask them, are you going to be present and who's going to be the decision maker? Are
Yes.
those the things, the way you navigate this?
Yeah, absolutely. You honestly have to, if the child is the one that's reaching out to you. That's where you need to start with all of the questions and try to get a perspective of where their relationship was at. What is the reasoning of the move? Try to get as much of the details as possible from the child, and by having that conversation, you will know their relationship. You definitely will, because uh there will definitely be signs if
So going into this situation, what's do you have some advice for families who are trying to work with their loved ones into transitioning into retirement living or whatever that is, either moving out of state with them or moving into an assisted living or moving into something a little bit more severe? How do you, what advice do you have for families? Because you've been through this a lot. You've seen
Yeah,
these situations.
absolutely. I would say to really communicate and give them options. Let them know, okay, we could do this. This is what it's going to cost per month. We could do this is the route we could do. This is the route we could do, or we could sell, and you can move in with us over here, or move closer to us if you don't actually want to be in our home, or a lot of people are also doing ADUs, which Val. Um, so, an ADU in the backyard so that they have their own space and they're still on the property, but they're just not living in the same home.
That's a great point, Elena. And I think that that's one of the most underutilized real estate opportunities in at least in California right now. So let's segue. I didn't have that in, but let's take a minute and talk about ADUs. First of all, what is an ADU?
An ADU is an additional dwelling unit. Is that right?
I've
Additional.
also heard it called auxiliary dwelling unit.
Yeah, also
That's
auxiliary dwelling unit,
sure,
correct.
sure.
Where it's built either in the backyard. It could be attached, but it's their they don't have entry into the home. Now, there are some new construction developments that do have an attached ADU where all you have to do is put up a wall. I've seen that happen.
Right.
But there's also some new construction that do have a detached ADU that I've recently seen. So yeah, that's definitely an option. And I absolutely agree with you. It's very, what is the word that I'm looking for? Not undervalued,
Underutilized. Yeah, not being used
underutilized.
enough.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah, but so for the benefit of our viewers and our listeners, this is what used to be called a granny flat, right?
Yes,
Right? And
yes.
they used to be either upstairs over a garage, right?
Yep,
Or they used to be attached outside or detached outside, and people called them a granny flat. Or it
yep,
could be, an additional room that was added on and closed off.
yep,
But now I understand that the reason for the growth of this housing product, we'll call it, is because the state of California believes that it will provide more housing to homeless people. But we know, in fact, that probably isn't how it's being used, but
right.
certainly is a definite advantage. And I think what you and I would refer to this also is what, and you'll see in the new home communities that you visit, especially where you are, I'm sure, is do you see the term used multi-gen housing?
Yes, multi-gen housing, yeah. And
And
that's a big selling feature. With affordability the way it is right now, now more than ever, are families having to come together in order to make it. So, yes.
are you finding when you visit new home communities and you see these that a multi-gen housing, is it always where there's an ADU, or do they just design the floor plan so that it's easier for grandma and grandpa to live there?
Mostly design the floor plan. Yeah.
And
Mostly design the floor plan. Another key feature that homeowners that have like their in-laws or their mother or fathers, they're looking for, if it's a two-story home, they're looking for either two masters where one of the masters is downstairs with a full bathroom, or a bedroom. It doesn't necessarily have to be a master, but a bedroom downstairs. for the mother
Is
or
there
father.
anything else you're seeing in multi-gen housing that stands out to you as a feature?
No, I would just say having a kitchenette. Some have a kitchenette,
Oh, they
and then
do.
they have kitchenettes. They have their own laundries.
Oh,
Yes, yes.
so those are really good features.
Those are very nice features. They
And
have their kitchenette, a bedroom, a very nice bathroom, and a laundry area. So it's really like giving them their independence and giving them their own little space.
their own apartment. Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
So for those who are listening and viewing, let's just wrap up this little segment by saying that that every city has, although the state has guidelines, every city has their own guidelines, and they make it easier than ever. So a lot of people used to never be able to do it. They didn't have it started out, Elena, several years ago, where you couldn't do anything unless you had a lot over 8,000 square feet, and that's not the case anymore. So if
Right.
anyone has any questions about this and wants to know if their home possibly qualifies for this, I'm sure you have some people that you can recommend and some people you work
Yes,
with that can help them.
absolutely. Yes. And we actually do within our brokerage as well. So yeah.
Oh, great. Well, that's good
Yeah.
to know.
Yeah.
That's good to know. Let's talk about the M word, which is money. So
Oh,
finances and affordability. Do most of your seniors pay cash for their homes or do they typically use financing?
a majority of them are cash. Yes. A majority of them have either sold or selling and downsizing. So a majority of them are cash. Yes.
And their
But
cash almost always comes from the sale of another home.
yeah. Now there is financing available, which a lot of people didn't know or don't know. It's not your traditional financing. It's specialty financing. The interest rate is a little bit higher, typically a couple percentage points higher than what like standard FHA conventional financing is. But it's available to them, and oftentimes they do take lower credit scores and they take lower down payment amounts. So it's available. Yeah.
And what financing trends are you seeing among seniors and how are they adapting to the market?
Of course. So for financing, I am seeing them wanting to get in with as little down, like 3% or 5%.
Really?
Yeah,
Really?
and you can. And if you think about that, if they're doing like, I mean, I've seen mobiles that are $50,000. What's 3% of that, right? I've seen them in the 150 higher, right? What's 3% of that? So
Right.
I've seen them as low with a down payment of 3%.
So are there specific loan programs or financial tools that are popular among seniors in your area?
I think it's typically a fixed rate for, I believe, 25 years.
But what
And
about condominiums also?
condominiums as well. Yeah. I don't honestly do too many condominiums, so I can't really answer that question honestly. Mostly mobile homes and single family residences for me anyways.
I guess when say condominium, I'm using that term loosely to be in a 55 plus community
Got it. Got
because they
it.
might be attached and really not really stacked
Yes.
condominium, but they're condominiums in a planned community, a um a condominium community, but they're all single story, right?
Sure.
Isn't that
Sure.
common there? Because they
Yes.
all have a
Yes.
homeowners association, right?
Right, correct. Yeah. Now, if you buy, so the 55 plus homes have HOAs, but if you do mobile home in a park, in a 55 park, there's no HOA, but they do have space rent. So you pay for the space rent, you don't pay an HOA.
Okay, well, that's good to know. I'm not sure I was aware of that. So where I was going with this is to ask you the question, how often do you see reverse mortgages used in purchasing a home?
For me, honestly, I don't see reverse mortgages that much, but they are available, and I do hear that they are widely used But for me, I haven't had anybody really come across and buy using a reverse mortgage. It's not that. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I sold one in your area.
Yeah.
Damn it, that they
I
bought using
remember
reverse mortgage. So that's interesting.
I remember you told me.
What do you think to the way that you work and your occupation here, what do you think seniors need the most from a real estate professional when they're downsizing or they're relocating?
Honestly, Val, they want somebody to not rush them. They want somebody who's patient and will take the time to listen to them and help them and guide them. They don't ask for much, honestly. They just need help with, so for instance, the listing appointment that I went to today, um, she has issues with, different health issues. And I said, don't worry about the cleaning. Let me take care of that for you. I said, just focus on packing your items and getting all that ready to go. And I'll work with your daughter and we'll get, they need help and they just want somebody to listen to them and to slow down and not rush them.
Right. Yeah. And give them time, especially don't rush them when they realize they're giving up a home that they love and maybe they've lived in for 40 years or so. They
Yes.
don't want to rush out. It's interesting, Elena, because a couple of weeks ago we interviewed a gentleman from a moving company, and they actually have their people are trained to serve seniors, and they have
Oh,
dedicated account managers who only work with seniors because they know in that process it takes so much patience, and not that it's a drag on them, but they want to provide the service and the relationship to those people that they need and that they deserve.
well, I'll tell you, Val, you have to be very patient. Many of the seniors are not tech savvy, right? So, in getting documents signed,
Right.
me as an agent, I need to be very, very thorough and make sure I go through everything with them, have them sign there and initial here. And, because I know that if I'm missing an initial or a signature, I'm not going to be able to send DocuSign
Right.
very easily. So then
Right.
I'll have to drive over and get a signature. So yeah,
So in tailoring your process to serve seniors, it sounds like that's one of the things that you include is
absolutely,
the realization that that's a necessity.
absolutely,
Is
absolutely.
there anything else that you include when you go on a listing appointment or presentation, so to speak? Is there anything special that you include in that that's not as important in a younger person or first time buyer as it is when you're approaching a senior?
I don't know if I really tailor it any different. I'm just more patient and I do allow more time for the appointment so I can talk and listen and understand. So I don't know if there's anything different, but other than time and just making sure that I am very well organized so that I can have a complete package done.
And
Yeah.
that they don't get flustered.
Yeah, but I'm always open to help with whatever they need assistance on at all times. And I assure the kids that too. I said, please lean on me for whatever you need to help make this smooth for mom.
Have you ever had situations, Elena, where the mover, the person moving was in California and the children were in another state and you never met them and you still coordinated that transaction?
Absolutely. Yes, I have multiple times. Multiple times. I've never even met the kids. Yeah.
Huh, huh, that's interesting. Well, it's
Yeah.
nice that you're obviously, and we know because that's one of the reasons we chose you to be with us today, is that people do trust you and you're so likable and everyone loves you once they meet you. So I can see why someone would be comfortable with you. So
Thank
now
you, Val.
now we're moving them. Now we're trying to get the senior into their new community. So what advice would you give to seniors about integrating into their new living quarters, a living arrangement, or community?
What would I advise them? I would advise them to just take it very slow and don't stress yourself out because it is a very stressful time for them. Don't try to do too much. Um, Utilize your agent to allow you to help you with whatever you need moving into your new home. And I think also having that communication, whether it's with the seller itself or with the kids, knowing what's really important to the buyer, right, or the homeowner, about them getting into or buying this home. So I think that's really important.
Are there any common mistakes or pitfalls that you see seniors do that you wish you could help them avoid those mistakes?
I think definitely, and I've heard this a lot, is thinking that they could buy with the stairs and then they
Oh,
close and it just, yeah,
they thought they would be all right.
they thought they would be all right. Yeah.
And
And
so
they
in a
would,
case like that, then what do you do? What is there anything you can do? Can you do like the stairs that go up the that you attach that go up the stairway or
at that point, I just say, well, okay, let me give you a referral for somebody that can help build you a ramp. I think they really want to try and they really think that they can do it, but some, right, depending upon um what their abilities are, yeah, sometimes it might be too much for them.
I understand. We know that everybody who works with Elena loves Elena, and so this is kind of a interesting question. But for the benefit of the people who don't know you yet, who are listening or viewing, how has working with seniors shaped your approach to real estate?
Oh, it has helped me a lot. It has helped me to be a more patient individual because I know, and you know, Val, I mean, in real estate, we're always, we're going, right? And sometimes I find myself rushing my husband or rushing my mom or rushing, and it's like working with seniors, it really brings you down and you don't ever want to come across being rushed to or rushing your client. So I think it has helped me just be a more calm individual.
What's the most rewarding part of helping seniors for you and helping them find their next home?
You know what? Honestly, just the smiles and the thank yous and just like helping and them truly being grateful for to make this happen for them.
And don't you find that generally speaking, they are grateful?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I have just I can't believe you made this happen for me. Thank you, thank you.
Oh,
I mean, I've had clients cry. I literally had somebody crying. And
oh,
and I had somebody where um it was the first house they ever bought.
oh my goodness.
And they were already in their 70s and just
My
and
goodness.
and just thankful that I made this
Oh,
happen for them and it blew me away because it's like, wow, you know, I don't know.
yeah.
Yeah.
What an experience. So if there's one thing that you think that seniors should know before contemplating or before making a big move like this, what would that be?
I would say make sure you really know make sure you know what you want.
Mhm.
One, and two, make sure you feel really comfortable with the agent that you're working with or choose to work with. So there's two. I don't know if I know you said
Yeah.
one, but it's
No,
two.
two is fine. Yeah.
Really think about what you want because at the end of the day, this is your life. This is how these are the times of your life, and you want to be comfortable and you want to be happy and you just want to be, right?
Yeah, safe and all those things. And
All those things. Yeah.
so when people move into retirement mobile home or 55 plus community, um, what is a social life like? Do you find that most of them who move into that type of a situation are looking forward to the socialization and being involved with other people?
I have a wide variety of clientele. I would say most of them um, don't, but then some of them do. I'll tell you, Val, I do have clients that tell me, and it's mostly the single ones that say they're very lonely.
Oh,
And even though they may have relatives in the city or sistering cities, but
hmm,
they're very lonely.
yeah.
And um, and so they make friends with their neighbors. But they really don't do like the clubhouse activities. So
Is
they
that
just,
right?
yeah, they just pick a couple of the neighbors that are really good friends, and they'll go have a cheeseburger or go to Sizzler together, or go grocery shopping or go to a medical appointment. But um, honestly, they're lonely and they just want somebody to talk to.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
know that's what I hear from my mom. But most of these 55 plus, either mobile home or condominium or 55 plus retirement communities have gardening,
clubhouses. Yeah. And
clubhouses, and
there's some like the colony over here. They have a hairdresser inside, they have a gym, they have a library, they have a craft room, they have a business center, they have tennis courts, pickleball courts, basketball courts, and then in some of the mobile home communities, they'll have like the clubhouse, a gym, a library, a swimming pool, and a spa. So just depending upon the community. Yeah.
when people are looking at homes and you're helping them view different communities, is this something they always want to see?
It does, because depending upon if it's important to them, if it's somebody who's not gonna use Clubhouse, they don't care to look at it at all. They don't care. If
Really?
they, yeah, if they're not gonna go, they, no, I don't care. I don't care what it looks like or what's in there, because I will never go there. That's what they say to me. But then the ones where, so I had one last year, and they're big pickleball players, and they wanted to see the courts, they wanted to see the
Oh,
clubhouse, they wanted to see all of the activities. It was important for them.
yeah. So those were the things that were the bigger feature for them.
Yes, yes. Yep. So it
How
really just depends upon who the individual is.
So when you consider that in this process, people are letting go of their family home, they're letting go of what they thought was their forever home, how do you help them emotionally transition from that family home into a different type of living space? And also we should add that some of these people are leaving a home that they had a spouse in and
Yes.
they raised their family there. And so it's not just leaving a house, but it's actually leaving a whole myriad of memories. So how do you help them transition into that?
I don't know if I really help them into transitioning,
You
but
probably do. You
I,
probably do.
I think I just have a listening ear. I don't know if I help them, but I just have a listening ear, and I do help them in whatever they need, honestly. It just, yeah, it's difficult. It can be difficult.
I'm sure it can. Do you have many people who move into the state to live where you are?
I do, yes. Um, I've had people come from Arizona, Las Vegas, where else? Texas.
Mm.
Yeah.
And are
So
they mostly moving here because they have a family member here?
yes, because they have a family member that they want to be around, or where the family can, they can be closer to the family. So I think whenever the senior is making the move, it's to be closer to the family.
Sure. And I hear that a lot from my other guests that people move into a location to be with their family. And if they move out of that location, it's often because they're following their children
Yes,
to another
yes.
location. Is that what
Correct.
you see also?
Yeah, yes, absolutely. I think you asked me one of the questions of the challenges. I think some of the challenges is like the moving and the packing. that's difficult for them. Like, I hear a lot of horror stories about seniors, movers, giving them one amount, but then at the end of the day, it's like
Right.
$1,000 or $2,000 more. So I think it's fabulous that you interviewed a mover and discussed all the different ways. I mean, I want to connect with the mover and kind of get their insights so that I can share that with my clients, because it just breaks my heart when people get taken advantage of. And I think it should just be open communication, right?
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
that's definitely something that I've heard over and over in helping seniors and moving.
Yeah, and seniors in any aspect. We had we have a friend who got a bid for a plumbing problem in her house for $8,000, and because it included digging up some pipes outside and so forth. And we referred someone that we work with, and the bid was $5,500.
Oh, well,
So none of us want to see a senior taken advantage of, and
right.
scams is a major problem for seniors.
Yes,
Anything
absolutely.
that is important. What do you think the senior's biggest concern is about moving? Do you think it's the house? Do you think it's will they like it? Do you think they're going to leave friends, make new friends? What do you think is there they really worry about, Elena?
I think um it's a couple of things. I don't know if it's one thing, but I think making friends, making some connections. I know that a few single seniors that I've helped were really concerned about the community, if that they would make some friends and be able to have somebody to spend some time with, even if just a little bit. The area, especially if they're coming from a different area and they hadn't actually lived in this area, if they would like the area. I know that's a huge one, the area that they're moving into, if they would like it or not.
Especially if they haven't lived in the heat before.
Yes, yes.
That could be a big factor where you are. Are there communities, do you ever see a community that offers a short-term stay so they can like try it out? Is that anything that's ever possible?
Not in my area, Val. I don't know, in your area. I think that would be a fabulous idea, right? But I think it's important for us as agents that when you are dealing with a buyer, especially coming from another state, to kind of try to let them know what you know about, like, the area, not the area, I'm sorry,
Oh, the area.
weather,
Sure.
the weather or the community and yeah, so it's important to share that with them, especially because they don't know.
No, they don't. And when people come to you, do they usually know what they're looking for, or are they saying, or does the child say to them, the adult child say, they need to move, they need to downsize, and we don't really know what we're looking for? And how do you start that process?
Typically they
That
know
right?
what they're looking for. Yeah, they need this amount of space, they need this type of flooring,
Really?
they need the ramp or the stairs are fine for them. So they know. Yeah. And I would say there's a very small percentage that don't know. And that's okay. Then that tells me I need to ask those questions to get those answers so I can help, so I can better help them and serve them.
You've served so many people. Was there ever a really tricky situation where you were able to help someone and you thought, "Oh no, I don't know if I can navigate this." And in fact, you could and everyone was happy at the end.
Yes,
Tell us about that.
absolutely.
Yeah, tell
Uh,
us about that.
it was just, I'll just say it was very difficult. And it was a seller who had a very difficult time letting go of the home, because that was the home that him and his wife bought. It was the one that she loved and have to have. And it was hard for him to let that go. So it was difficult. it was difficult in getting paperwork signed, and it was getting, even though it's what he absolutely said he needed to do and wanted to do, it was difficult. Yeah.
And how did you work with him? How do you feel like you helped him? What were some of your, not tricks, but your methods, so to speak?
I think just being very compassionate and just saying, she will be very proud of you that
Oh,
you took these steps to do this, and she knows how much you wanted to make her happy. So I would
oh,
just kind of it's difficult. It's very difficult.
and
As
so
real
touching.
as realtors, we need to kind of uh I we're kind of therapists at the same time, right?
We are, we are.
Yeah.
What are some of the additional services that you recommend or that you're aware of that people need and use when they're considering a move? There's like decluttering services, there's downsizing advisors, there's senior move managers. I don't know if you've used a move manager in your area, but what are
I
some
would
of the other things that people should know about?
I would definitely say, and you really hit it there. I would say definitely decluttering. That's because people have years and years and years of accumulated stuff, right? So I would definitely say decluttering, and I would say exactly that, a senior move manager, because there's so many moving companies out there um that don't cater to seniors, and are kind of, I don't know if I'm using the right word, but unscrupulous, is that
Yes,
right?
yeah, absolutely, sure.
So yeah.
Well, and speaking with our move man, the gentleman we interviewed, Todd Emmerich is his name, and he tells of stories when they get there that day to move, and the person, the seller, them just just can't go. They
Yeah.
just can't get themselves to leave the house. They just
Yeah.
have to send the mover away and say, I can't do it today.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so to have someone who's willing to help and do that. Elena, it's been such a pleasure having you on our show. You're just a wealth of information. You're such a kind person. If there's one thing that you could say about serving seniors that you wish everyone would know from your heart, what would that be?
I would say slow down. Take care of your seniors, um they just want to be heard, and they're you need to just, they want, show empathy, show kindness.
And I know that because you're so well known that you must have a network of realtors around the country. So if anyone is in your area and they're moving away from there or someone is coming in, you must have people that you can refer them to, don't you?
Yes, absolutely, all over the United States.
So
Yes.
how is the best way for our viewers and our listeners to find you?
The best way would be look me up, Elena Flores, whether that would be on Facebook or I don't know. I'm not
And
used to that.
do you have a website or a phone number where people can reach you, Elena?
Yeah, it's Elena Flores Homes .com. And my cell phone number is 619-952-5104.
Thank you so much for being with us. This is an episode I've wanted for a long time. When I first started this show, Always Ageless, I knew that I wanted you here to talk about this exact subject. So we thank you very much. We're very blessed and honored that you are here today. And for our viewers and listeners, don't forget to come back again next Monday, every Monday at 3 o'clock. Always Ageless, where we help you live life fully, no matter what age you are.
Thank you, Val. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you for being here. Bye bye, Elena.
Bye bye.